Well, let's get you more on this story. Our international affairs editor, Angela Diffley, joins me in the studio. Angela, this is, if this meeting were to take place, it would be pretty significant for both sides.
Yeah, and both have something to gain from it. Russia obviously is in need of weapons, and particularly it's thought that recently they asked North Koreans for munitions, and they are particularly in need of weapons. It's unclear, there is a bit of a question mark over how well maintained some of the North Korean weaponry is, but that's clearly what the Russians would like out of this. On the North Korean side, there are a number of ways of looking at this. First of all, North Korea is in severe need after years of isolation. It needs food, it needs money, it needs oil. So on a straightforward level, something like that might be negotiated. It's possible North Korea would also try to get from Russia some increased cooperation, military cooperation in Asia, for example, along the lines of what we already see with the US, South Korea and Japan, perhaps something involving China, Russia, North Korea, naval drills. That might be something the North Koreans hope to get out of this. As well as that, North Korea in some ways would like to show China that it is not wholly dependent on China, that it has perhaps another ally and is not entirely. China at the moment is the country that has pretty much sole leverage over North Korea. And it's possible that North Korea would like to explore having another ally. Equally, that works for Moscow, which might be keen to show Beijing that it is not entirely dependent on Beijing either. So that would work for both of them. So that's a look at sort of what each side has to gain from this.
In terms of the United States, how have they been reacting to this potential visit by Kim-Jong Un to Russia?
Well, I did forget to mention one thing on the who gains what. North Korea are very keen probably to get either technological know-how or technology in order to go forward with their nuclear program. That, again, might be something on their list. It's thought they might have the upper hand in any such negotiations as Moscow is so desperate for weapons. As to how the US is viewing this, it's interesting. We don't know if it's true, but the story has been kind of outed. And it's possible that Washington is keen for this to be in the public domain because for two reasons. One, it shows that intelligence, South Korean intelligence and Washington's intelligence is high performing. And it also, in some senses, creates a problem for the two leaders if they were planning a meeting. If they go ahead with the meeting, then it displays to the whole world how good Washington's and South Koreans' intelligence is. If they cancel it, then they have been thwarted. So that is something to note in the optics of all of this. Beyond that, Washington has, of course, said that sanctions are likely if any weapons are sold, that there is a clear public commitment for the North Koreans not to engage in this sort of thing. And they have said quite clearly in Washington that negotiations on arms are advancing. They have evidence. So they're very worried about it. They're keeping a track on it. Of course, we have had meetings before. Back in 2019, Donald Trump, of course, met in Vietnam,
Indeed.
met the North Korean leader, and Xi did as well in the same year shortly afterwards. But there's been a long period of isolation since.
All right, Angela, thank you very much.